The Premier League has had many disappointments this season, with a lot of underperforming teams that have big managers, big signings, yet big failures, especially if we look at the expectations versus reality. And 5 teams stand out as being the quote-unquote biggest flops. So, today we're looking at the top 5 biggest disappointments this Premier League season so far. Before we get into it, I want you guys to comment what your top 5 Premier League teams that have flopped this season are. And whilst you're down there, I'd really appreciate it if you guys liked and subscribed. It's a new channel and I'd love to keep posting videos. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with number 5, I am going with Newcastle United. Finishing in 5th last season and making it to the Champions League, along with beating Liverpool for the Carabao Cup, meaning there's silverware as well. From there, logically, the expectations was to once again push for top 4, decent run in the Champions League, and maybe pick up a cup. The reason I don't have Newcastle as the biggest flop is because they're still in the Champions League. And although as of today, they're 10th in the Premier League, they're only 8 points off 5th. However, their form is not looking the best. One last thing to add is their transfer window was decent. They brought in talents such as Voltamare, Elanga, Wissa, Jacob Ramsey, and more. So it's safe to say that they're underperforming this season. Now, moving on to my 4th spot, I'd have to go for West Ham. I mean, this team in particular, this is a big fall. The fact that they're fighting relegation when they finished 14th last season, along with bringing in the likes of Mateus Fernandes, Kyle Walker-Peters, and Callum Wilson. Looking at the cups, they're still in the FA Cup, so they still have that to play for as well. However, a key point was their manager trouble. They got rid of Potter and brought in Nuno, and with him in charge, they do seem to be turning it around, with only 1 loss in their last 5. So purely for the fact that they're in relegation currently, they're going into my 4th spot. Now, onto the top 3. For my 3rd place, as the biggest flops this season, I'm going for the big, the mighty, nah, just kidding, it's Tottenham. Although their Premier League standings currently are very similar to that of last season, coming off the back of winning the Europa League, making Champions League, getting in a new manager, and signing players like Xavi Simons, Kudus, Conor Gallagher, the expectation was extremely high. I mean, some Tottenham fans thought that they would be miles above Man United. Shout out SDS.
Roll the tape.
Previously.
Obviously, we talked about potentially Thomas Frank coming in.
Understand
It
why
could
you
be
finished 17th.
a whole
What are we
different
doing
season.
here?
But I'm telling you now, Spurs will
they're already
not be
losing their best defender.
bottom half next season.
Many months later.
So this one was pretty straightforward. Their performances have been very underwhelming and they just sacked their manager. So maybe they could go on a good run, but as of now, they're in my 3rd spot. Now for my 2nd place, I'm going to have to go for Nottingham Forest. The fact that they're sitting in 17th after finishing 7th last season is crazy. They're out of both cups, losing to Wrexham in the FA Cup, and now all they have to play for is Europa League, which they need to play playoffs in order to get into the round of 16s, and they got to focus on surviving relegation. The biggest talking point with Forest is Marinakis, because the speed that managers get sacked in that club is wild. They've gotten rid of Nuno and Sean Dyche this season. If they do get relegated, it's going to be a crazy hit financially with all the signings that they've made in the summer. Now finally, our number 1 spot when it comes to underperforming teams this season, and it hurts to say as a Liverpool fan, but it is Liverpool. Now keep in mind, this is based off expectations versus reality. Winning the Premier League and having a record transfer window, there was big expectations for silverware this season. Now, to defend Liverpool a little, they've had plenty of injuries, along with selling many players. So that transfer window was not crazy when you look at net spend because of how many players we lost. However, it's still unacceptable. We're now fighting for top 4, but still in the Champions League and the FA Cup. The Champions League is something I can see Liverpool going far in, so we're going to have to wait and see. But as of today, 26 matches into the Premier League season, those are my top 5 biggest disappointments. Let me know if you guys agree. If not, drop your top 5, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. Until next time.